Okay, I'm back again recording another video. This one is, another episode of me just ranting, basically. Uh, and this is going to be about how important online Call of Duty has become uh, in the CDL and why it's actually just terrible that this is still a thing in 2024. That online is as important, if not more important, than LAN. I'll go into some casualties later on, but a lot of players, particularly Carolina Royal Ravens, just suffered completely from this, and it's just crazy. And I'm going to show you why. So in 2016 was the first year of the CWL, the Call of Duty World League, and how they did it was they separated it into three regions. You had NA, EU, and APAC. Each region you would play an online stage, and then after that stage you would go to LAN for the playoffs. This was the first season of the CWL, and all of the league was online except for the playoffs, right? And that's the same as what we have now. But you did have, as well as the playoffs, you had a lot of normal events, which we're just about kind of seeing with like the, the EWC and technically some of the pro-ams, I guess, that we have sprinkled throughout the season, the CDL. But back then, like you would have the league and you'd have a lot of normal events. We don't really have that anymore. What we basically have now is basically 4 or 5 mini leagues with mini playoffs, and then the big playoff at the end, which is champs. So it's completely different. But my point is, that's a bit off topic because my point is that this was online, and that obviously since the end of Cold War, we've been online in Call of Duty 2. Well, since like the end of Modern Warfare 1, technically, Modern Warfare 2019. But my point is, ever since this is IW, right? This is the IW league system, the Global Pro League it was called. So all of the things, all of the leagues from Black Ops 3 got combined into one, and you had the 16 best teams. So you had 1 from APAC, 6 from EU, and 4. Wait, what am I talking about? 10 from NA, I think. Probably should have counted that beforehand, but who cares? Yeah. So you had like a mix of teams, and they all played online in Columbus. And how they did it was they had 4 mini leagues, which are just groups, right? So you just had group stages over a number of weeks, and then that fed into the playoffs. And again, that's still not the best system, right? I guess you could say that's not a great system, but at least it's okay. At least it's all online. And then this was again still very early stages of the CWL. Then we get to how they did it in World War II, which is it was almost the same, but instead of having 4 groups, they had 2. So look, you have Division A and Division B, and if I remember correctly, I think maybe that's in Black Ops 3. There was one time where the teams in one group played each other once, and then they played the teams in the other group one time as well. Like they played each other in their own group twice, I mean, and they played the other group one time. That doesn't look like it's this one. This is maybe, but let me just double check that. But I'm sure that was the case in something. Yeah, that's the case in Black Ops 4. So you see that they're getting better and better. Each CWL season is getting a better and better format. So this format, you just play your teams in your group. Top 4 go through to the playoffs. Bottom 2 get relegated and play in the relegation match. Black Ops 4, because it was veering towards franchising, there was no relegation. And that's a completely different topic. We're just talking about, can you have a whole league online? Well, yeah, they've done it 3 years in a row. Not only that, 2020 comes around, and Modern Warfare 1, well, I don't know why I keep calling it that, CoD MW 2019, was planned to be basically a LAN league with a questionable format. but it was all meant to be online. And the thing that disrupted it was COVID. And because of COVID, they had to, it was a necessity to be online. They made it all go online, and that's fair enough. Like, no one can complain about that. That they did what they have to do. They physically can't have it being played online, so play it online. Fair enough. And that happened. We all know how long COVID lasted for. It lasted for about a year. So Cold War had the same system. It had a different format. Cold War, if I remember right, I think from Cold War we have the same system that we have now. And it was good. It was good for COVID. It's a really good system for COVID times. And even when we were just lifting out of COVID at the end of the Cold War season, I think it was good to keep a lot of it online. That was 2 years ago. There's no need for it anymore. And again, there's something to be said about like not having a league at all. Some people say like you should just have everything just online events. Maybe, but I don't think there's anything wrong with having a league. I just think that having a league where so much is based on online, and then you can see the complete discrepancies in performance again. Carolina Royal Ravens, Heretics. I've just seen people. This is a bit off topic, but not really. About Miami Heretics, right? For me, I think they had a very good season. Obviously, they did play sixth online in the in CoD Champs, right? So that's a good line placement. But I've seen people say now, in retrospect, that they were terrible. I've literally just seen this today. I read a comment because they're comparing them to the Falcons, right? And a lot of people were calling Miami Heretics awful and saying that that they were just terrible and that they were the same as what Falcons are going to be, basically, which is bottom of the league. And it's rewriting history, because if you actually look at it, the online stage, they were really good. Because people say, oh, they went 0-6 in their first they went like 0-4 in their first two events. But that means that they made upper bracket in both their events. And that's what probably I think that's what gave them enough points to make it into the champs. Let's have a look. So I'm going to the overview. Wait, let's see if I can see it. Yeah, they got just about scraped through by 20 points. Legion as well was another team that they did better at LAN, I think. Maybe actually I might be wrong on that, but still a lot of I know Ravens is the big one. If this was a LAN season, Ravens would have made champs, no question. Ravens would have made champs, and Clayster would still be in the league. And Fellow as well is another one that he's just played astronomically better on LAN. And it's again, it's a shame, and this is why I just think it needs to change. In a perfect world, again, I've seen people say, oh, there's logistics and like maybe there's not enough money to go around, because this is one of the arguments I've heard. But I do think it's nonsense. But one of the arguments I heard was that it's impossible for them to do a LAN league because the players' salaries are so high. So the players would have to get a massive pay cut for them to have the money left over to run the LANs. And I just think that's nonsense, to be honest, because the salaries were, I think, higher in MW19. I might be wrong on that. They might be higher now. Especially, I've heard a recent rumor that the salaries are going, the salary like floor, I don't remember what it's called, like the minimum salary, that's going away. So you can literally be hired for a packet of crisps now, basically. And if that's the case, there's no reason. Yeah, even when that isn't the case, I don't think that was a reason, because, like I said, 2019, they perfectly planned. Not only they didn't just plan to have a LAN league, 2020. I mean, the MW19. They didn't just plan to have a LAN league. They promised to have a global LAN league. They had one event in London. The last event in London was the CDL event. Don't forget. Um, so they plan to have it all over the America and in London as well. That was their plan. And you're telling me that they've gone from that to, oh no, we can't even have it in a studio like they used to have in the CWL. They obviously could. They easily could. They could host the teams out there for a little bit. Again, it's been done before. I think it's just an excuse they've used so they can save money. And again, I don't have anything against that. They can save their money. But I just think it calls the integrity of the league into question a little bit for me. Again, some teams like Atlanta FaZe, right? Another one to bring up. They're obviously a good team. They've just won the last event, right? I'm not saying they're not a good team. But look at how good they are and this has been the same for the last 3 years. They are so dominant online. And people say, again, they won one event, right? After they won one event, and then had a very good, they had a very good qualifier leading up to the event. They had a very good qualifier after the event. People were calling them like a dynasty and up there with like Complexity and Optic. No. No. You're winning online matches. The same thing happened with Optic in Advanced Warfare, right? They were a really, really good online team. They were obviously an amazing LAN team as well. Arguably one of the best of all time. Like, not even arguably, they were one of the best of all time. But their online performance was even better, right? And that makes people think they're really, really good. But the thing is, it doesn't actually have weight. It didn't have weight. That was just because a lot of people watched them, even though they weren't known as just like those like 5Ks that Optic would win or the online league matches back then. They weren't that important, as important as they are now. Whereas now, it can make and break your season. And again, look at FaZe. It's making people think that FaZe are way better than they are. And then they go to LAN, and obviously they do well. They're the most consistent team. But they don't dominate. They barely lose a series online. It's crazy. Yeah, I think I haven't got that much else to say about it, to be honest. But I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because I think it's something that isn't talked about enough. It should be. This should be the number. Like, so many petty things are often brought up. This is not one. This is something that I think needs to be looked into if possible. That's just my opinion on it anyway. But yeah, again, I say it every time, but I'm still not used to this talking to the camera. But it's only day 4. Next, yeah, hopefully tomorrow gets slightly better, and yeah, eventually I'll get this YouTube stuff sorted. But thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.